Going on, traders? How we doing today? It is January 28th, 2024. It is 11:56 a.m. It is Sunday, so today's video is going to be me doing my weekly analysis on the Forex markets, taking a look at how I see things personally and how I plan on proceeding if certain things do line up. So let's just go ahead and get right onto it. Before we take a look at the markets, I always like to take a look at Forex Factory just to be aware of some of the news that is coming out this week. And, if you are aware of the fundamentals, then, this week is pretty big from a fundamental standpoint. Right. So coming off the gate on Tuesday, we have Joe's job openings numbers. We have AUD CPI later that day as well. Wednesday, we have some Euro news. We have some pre-ADP, pre-NFP numbers, right? ADP non-farm employment change. We have CAD GBP. And then we have USD unemployment cost index, right? And then later that day, it gets really important, right? We have the federal funds rate, want to see if that number is going to stay the same. Will it change? Will it go higher? Who knows, right? And then we also have the FOMC press conference, which Jerome Powell will be speaking, right? And just from the last couple of times that I've tuned in, the markets really get volatile during that time. So Wednesday should be pretty interesting. Thursday we have a lot of GBP news, so that should be pretty interesting as well. We also have unemployment claims for USD later that morning. We have ISM manufacturing PMI a couple of hours later as well. And then on Friday, right, it gets pretty interesting again, right? We have NFP unemployment rate and the average hourly earnings. So pretty heavy on the fundamental side this week, right? So we'll be looking to see how, these numbers come out starting Wednesday, but we'll also most definitely be paying attention to what price is doing at the end of the day. So that's the news that's happening for the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the DXY for starters. So last week, we saw that from a fundamental standpoint, the DXY, the numbers were coming for the most part, right? The numbers were better than expected, right? Positive for the dollar, right? But from a price action standpoint, even though the numbers were harder than expected, we didn't see a shift in the trend this week, right? We saw we saw consolidation. The markets go back and forth. So we had fundamentals telling us one thing, right? Numbers better than expected, but we have price telling us another thing that, even though these numbers are pretty good, like, it's not time yet for the markets to continue higher, right? But, you know, even though the trend didn't continue, the trend hasn't changed yet, to be honest, right? We've been on a bullish run since almost the end of December of last year. And for the last couple of weeks now, we've just kind of been ranging back and forth. So, you know, um, if I had to pick a way, I would be personally still going with the trend, and the trend is still overall bullish, at least for the moment, right? But I'm not I don't have a bias coming into this week, right? I'm not more bullish this week or more bearish this week. I'm genuinely neutral. Um, but like I said, if I did have to pick a way, I'd lean more so bullish than bearish, right? But looking at the DXY, on the daily, we do see that we've been, even though we did bounce off of the support right here, right? We've been making these lower highs, right? Lower high. And then, we see that's it, for the last couple of weeks now, we've been ranging, right? Potentially putting in a lower high. So, to keep this thing simple, all I want to see on the DXY this week is, which way are we going to break out? Are we going to finally break out of these highs right here? And is the trend going to continue? Or are we going to break lower, right? And are we going to see, the DXY, start to fall? So that's what I'll be looking for this week. So that's the DXY. Some Forex pairs that I am looking at, USD CAD, to keep it simple, I just want to see, which way are we going to break, right? Because, we've been bouncing, right? So are we just going to keep doing that this week? Or, are we going to see a trend in the market? Are we going to break down this way and, and continue to go lower? Or is that DXY gonna be hot? Are we gonna see this breakout to the upside, right? And any kind of breakout, any kind of retest, looks good to this next level of resistance. And then, from there, if we break out of this resistance right here, then, truly, right? Truly, USD CAD looks like it's prepped to head back to these highs, right here. So, almost ready, but not 100% ready yet, I would say, because even though we do break out of these highs right here, there's still this resistance right here. But with that being said, if we do break out of this resistance, a trade from this level to this next level right here is about 70 pips. So it's still a good opportunity. And from there, we'll see whoever's trading this, I'll see if we can break out of this resistance level as well and continue to go higher, right? But if that doesn't work and we see that DXY, is just super weak, and if we just start to break these support levels right here, any kind of retest, I'll be looking to try to get in, from a seller standpoint. So that's USD CAD, keeping it simple. Just because that's the only thing to do, truly. Somebody left me a comment on my YouTube the other day, said I trade slow, like really, really slow. And I don't know if that was like a diss or whatever, but honestly, I took that as a compliment, right? Because I'm doing things the professional way, right? Because to me, trading isn't coming every day and taking a trade, trying to flip $100 to $1,000 every day, right? Trading is slow and steady, and that's what keeps you in the game long term. So appreciate if that person is watching this video, honestly, thank you for that comment. Even though you might have not said it from a positive standpoint, I took it in a positive way. So, Euro USD. Pretty much the same thing, right? I want to see which way we're gonna break out this week, because last week we had a fake breakout here, followed by price pushing all the way up, coming all the way down, and then kind of just being in the middle of things, right? So pretty much consolidation. So you know this week, if that dollar's strong, if we get a good breakout, any kind of retest, looks good, to these next support levels. And then, from there, we'll see if we can break those levels as well. But, if the dollar's weak and we start to see Euro USD push up, we'll be looking, to try to get in, right? On a recessed opportunity, right? But no need to overcomplicate things. But that's what I'll be looking for personally on Euro USD. Are we gonna break out lower, break support levels, or are we gonna make that high, right, and continue higher? And it looked like last week that we were potentially going to break out higher, right? We were kind of in this consolidation range, and we saw price come down here and break back above, right? And it did close above here, but right, it wasn't the most convincing candle, right? Because yes, this green bar is higher than this green bar, but it's not that much higher, right? But let's say this candle had ended up closing right here instead of right here. To me, that would have been a more convincing that buyers are ready to step in and change the direction in this market. But that didn't happen, right? And we saw that the next 4 hour candle immediately closed right back, and then after that, we even closed lower, right? So this week, what are we gonna do? And just gonna have to be patient and just gonna have to see which way the market breaks out. Yeah, that's Euro USD. Uh, I'll talk about CAD JPY in a second. AUD USD, pretty much the same thing, right? We've already hit the support level, over here, and you see, after hitting this support level right here, we're getting a pretty natural retracement in the market. But to me, you know, just because we've hit this level and we're bouncing doesn't mean that, that the trend is over, right? And it's time to automatically start buying this market, right? Because, yes, we're retracing, but it's not the most impulsive candles right to the upside. No breakouts yet, no higher highs, just a retracement of, the impulse move to the downside. So, for me on AUD USD, the best bet naturally would be to wait for the breakout of this support level at 0.65261. But going into this week, if we break out of this level right here, 65512, if we can get a retest, I'll be looking to short this. Naturally we have to pay attention. From here to here is only 20 pips. But if we can break that, if we can break the support level right here, then we have this more obvious, level on the daily, right? And if we do break the support level, from here to here is about 200 plus pips. So on AUD USD, I may be taking it prematurely, but if we do break out of the support level right here, any kind of recess, I'll be looking to try to get it right kind of early, right? And if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But to me, the true move and the true trend on AUD USD would be waiting for, naturally would be waiting for the bigger breakout, right? Would be wait for that breakout of this right here. And any kind of retest of that broken support, looks good for a continuation to the downside. So that's my outlook on AUD USD, and just gonna wait to see which way the market breaks out of. GBP USD is a little bit more interesting because we've been consolidating just back and forth most definitely, but have to be aware that the market most definitely has been like in this overall like uptrend, pushed higher, excuse me, pushed higher, higher low, pushed higher, technically a higher high, but now we're see that we're making higher lows, right? We're not making higher highs, right? And we're not having those big impulse candles to the upside anymore. So um I'm I'm not ready to buy GBP USD, and I'm not really ready to sell Euro USD. I'd much rather just wait for the markets to tell me, which way it wants to go. So, for GBP USD, I'm gonna be patiently waiting to see which way it breaks out, right? Are we gonna break out of this support level right here? Also ending this not the biggest on trend lines, right? But it kind of works in this way, right? So if we do break out of here, it'd be a change in direction. The trend line would get broken and blah blah blah, right? But just want to see if we can break out of this support level, or is this trend line gonna hold, and are we gonna see this go up, right? And if we break out of this resistance level right here, this 1.28280, any kind of retest, then I'll be looking to potentially try to go long on this market, right? But for me personally, it's a little too early to tell. So that's why, I have no trades or no thoughts or ideas at the moment, right? We need to see what happens before I make my personal move. USD JPY is another market that looks, interesting. It's most definitely in a overall bullish uptrend, right? Kind of like reverse of GBP USD, right? We saw that we had a big impulse move out of these like lower highs that it was making, right? Finally had a higher high, another high, and then a higher high as well, right? And now we're retesting this once resistance level right here. Not right now, but we retested this once resistance level right here, right? And we see that from this level, the market found buyer support. So for me, there's two ways that I'd be looking for buys. Let's say the market came down here again, started rejecting, I'd look for a buy opportunity there, somewhere down here. But let's say that doesn't happen, the market opens up, never coming back down here. If we can get a new high, anytime any kind of retest, right? I'll be looking to try to get in on this market, to the next levels of resistance, which are right here. But if that doesn't happen and we see the yen gain some strength, if we break out of here, any kind of retest, I'll be looking to try to get in on the other way. And my trading style most definitely sounds repetitive, but the market is a cycle, and the market continuously does the same thing. So that's why I sound repetitive if I do sound repetitive. Yeah, so that's USD JPY. Euro JPY looks pretty interesting as well. Looking at it on the daily, right? So we see that we found, support, you know, at these lows right here, right? And ever since the market has found support, we have been trending higher, right? High, had a resistance level right here. Eventually got broken. The resistance got retested, and right, we pushed up higher again, right? And this once resistance level is now being retested. But on Friday we see that we did close bullish. So that's pretty telling in my opinion for Euro JPY. But how could I get in on this chart? Even though I do like the buys, on this chart, I couldn't buy it right now because, personally, if I bought it right now, it'd have to be, buy right here, stop loss all the way down here. And, take profit would be, yes, it'd be this first resistance level right here. But naturally, as a swing trader, I'd be looking for that momentum all the way up here, right? So not a bad risk to reward at the end of the day, but, not looking to buy, just yet. But if we can get a break out of this, mini 4 hour resistance right here, any kind of retest of that broken level, I'll be looking to potentially try to go long, to this resistance level right here. And then, if we can get that breakout, right, the trade will just be a lot better, right? But that's my thoughts on Euro JPY. Um, let's say, that didn't happen and it started to reject here. I really wouldn't be looking for the sells off of this rejection right here. And, I don't know if I would be looking to buy either if the market came all the way down here, right? But, we'll just have to see how that price action looks. Just because we've already rejected it once, and another rejection, at this level wouldn't look the greatest just because, have to be aware that, we have been putting in these like lower highs, right? Low, 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 low. So, right, that's why I want to see a higher high come in, right? A break out of these lower highs and a higher high come in, right? And then, to me, the buys look a lot better. But if that doesn't happen and, we do start to break down lower, a breakdown lower of the support level, any kind of retest, I'll be looking to try to get in. So, right, that's my thoughts and ideas on Euro JPY. CAD JPY, I'm still in this market. I held it overnight. It looks like we're coming up to this resistance level right here. But, kind of like the same thing with Euro JPY, want to see if we can break out of this resistance right here. I haven't trailed stops, but I have moved my stop loss to break even. So no matter what happens, the only money that I would lose is the swap fees and blah, 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 blah. Right. But, want to see if we can break out of this week, right? And if we can, then, these next levels to resistance look pretty good. But, if that doesn't happen, then, I will get trailed out of this trade for a, break even trade, which I'm not mad at. But really wouldn't be looking for, a sell on this market. So, we started to break out of this support level, at 108.88, 108.88 level, right? That's when I personally would be looking for a sell in this market. So just on my hands right now on CAD JPY, I'm not really looking to move my stop loss, into profit just because, where I would put it, at least from a 1 hour perspective, really doesn't make too much sense right now. But if we do break out of this and, start to retest it, start to reject, then, now I can move my stop loss to right below here. And then, for a profit. So just being patient on CAD JPY. Some people might say I'm foolish for not taking any profit, but yeah, it is what it is. GBP JPY, I don't really have a bias on it this week. Gold is pretty much the last chart that I'm looking for this week. And, for gold, naturally we've been making these lower highs, right? Low, low, lower high, lower, low, lower high, lower high, lower high. But, want to see which way is it going to break out, right? Are we going to make another low? And if we can make another low, any kind of retest looks nice, to hit these next support levels right here. But, if that DXY becomes weak and we start to break higher, a break above this resistance 2039.707, any kind of retest to me looks good to hit these next levels, of resistance. And then, from there, see if we can break out higher, So that's my trading plan for the week. That's pretty much everything I'm going to be looking at for the week. Want to see how these numbers come out and how the markets react to these numbers. But yeah, that's the way I see things this week. Personally, I feel like there's no need to rush things because the markets aren't completely developed yet. I feel like they are almost ready for an opportunity though, right? So personally, I don't want to blow all my money making trades that I know aren't the best when the real opportunity has yet to come. So just gonna stay patient, just gonna stay professional. And I'll be looking at how these numbers come out. I'll be seeing what price does, but I'll be making another video more than likely on Tuesday after these numbers come out. Maybe I'll do it live, maybe I'll do a post-market reaction. But until then, I'll see you guys soon. I appreciate to anybody who is liking, commenting, subscribing, whether good or bad. I appreciate it because all feedback, in my opinion, is good feedback. So yeah, man, I appreciate the ones who are taking the time out to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys soon. Let's have a great trading week, everybody.